So there is something that is really interesting happening in the job market. And I think a lot of people who are at not even super senior levels, but, at least 8 to 10 years under your belt. This has happened to me numerous times. A lot of people I've talked to, this has happened to them as well, which is that because I've now had several roles where I've gotten to the final stage and have not gotten the job. I've gone through that process now. I think now I'm at like 7, where I have gone through multiple rounds of interviews, assessments, whatever it might be, and gotten to the final round and didn't get it. The vast majority is because the role just ceased to exist. Even to the point of, they might say at the end, like, we went with another candidate, and they don't go with anybody. Because that's pretty easy to see. All you have to do is follow these companies on LinkedIn and see that, like, no one filled that role. There's no one working there with that title, with that role now. Or a lot of them have explicitly said, yeah, we got to the end here and decided to wait on this role. We decided not to fill it. But then this other thing has happened, which is that you go really far down the path and you get to the end, and then they do a hard pivot to like a totally different experience set. Right? So like, here's a leadership level brand role that requires at least 10 years of brand experience. But then we also decided that we want someone who has experience in this other field that has nothing to do with brand, but has to do with our industry. Things that would be two distinct career paths, but because the industry that you're in overlaps those, you want someone that has both. Unicorn. And this is when we talk about how it is eroding trust and candidates don't care anymore. Because what do you mean the job just goes away 5 interview rounds in, 3 months in? It just goes away. There's no more budget. There's no more room. There's no more this. And so many people I've talked to have gone through this. And it's baffling to me. And the thing is that, it gives you data to understand the company. And quite frankly, for me, companies that are that disorganized are not companies I want to be a part of. Because if they're that disorganized at the introduction to them, imagine what it's like to work for them. But it's so many. It's so many. And I'm just like, all this stuff is really, really connected. Bad fucking leadership across the board. I think a lot of it comes from, we have existed in this world with this idea of it's not what you know, it's who you know. Which means that like nepotism and favoritism is where people are getting to the places they're getting to, not their skills. And then people get to the very top of their company or their field or their department, and they don't know what the fuck they're doing. And those are the people making the decisions. And so then that trickles down into, we want to hire for this. Great. We're going to spend 4 months going through candidates, doing multiple rounds of interviews. Oh, maybe that's not what we want to do. I'm freaked out. Let's just not do this now and we'll do it later. Like, what are you talking about? There's such a lack of leadership across the board at these companies, and it's trickling down to the candidate experience, so that even these jobs that are hiring, it's virtually impossible to get hired, not because you're not experienced, not because you're not a great fit, because like, not to brag, Every single time they've been like, you're amazing. We would love to work with you. We just realized like this role, we don't know what to do with it. It's gotten me, I've talked about this a little bit, is that like, I don't really apply to stuff anymore. I have been moving more into things that are contract, fractional, freelance, because this process is so broken. It's not just about getting your resume in front of a recruiter, which is a huge broken part of the system. It's about the fact that none of you know how to just hire and make a decision, especially with anything that is above entry level. What is happening in these companies? How are you managing to stay afloat and alive when you can't make a decision as simple as, we need this role, let's interview and hire someone? What do you mean months into it, rounds and rounds into it, all of a sudden the parameters are changing? You want unicorns, and unicorns don't exist. They're mythical creatures. Just hire a fucking person. Let them show up. Let them do the work for you. Your company is stagnant. You're ruining your employer brand and your reputation because you're so frozen in indecision. I don't know. It's so many people I know are going through the same thing. So many people I know are seeing that like these roles just aren't getting filled at all. And they're just wasting dollars and time and resources. Fucking what are you guys doing?